Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Mark.
And we just finished playing Wasteland Express Delivery Service, which is a pick up and deliver game in a sort of post-apocalyptic world. Think Mad Max. Essentially, you are trying to complete various objectives. There are some that come out kind of at the beginning of the game. So, for example, this one wanted you to deliver 3 artifacts. These are like computer chips to the depot. The depot's right in the middle of the board here. Everyone takes a certain character with a certain vehicle. In this case, I got the school bus. So computer chips can be bought from here, dispatch. So if you deliver 3 of those to the depot, that's one way in our game of getting a kind of victory condition met. Effectively, if you meet 3 of these victory conditions, you win the game. So you're racing to try and complete these ones. This was sort of attack and defeat a particular bad guy. This one over here, who has a certain toughness to beat, and a particularly nasty little character mini there. And the final one that we were trying to do, these are different each game, but it was to go to Motown to begin a vision quest. There were these decks of cards. I'll show you the one that I had to do. They come in stages, so you don't quite know what's going on, but there's some little theme and text story here. It says go to the coffers, so I think that was all the way over there. I had to go there first of all, and after you've done stage 1, then you get to do stage 2. I then had to pillage the 99 enclave, so I then had to travel all the way across to this side, to the 99 enclave, pillage there, and then donate the pillaged cargo to dispatch. Which was here. So I was travelling around, pillaging and donating things, and then final stage of my vision quest was to go to Box Canyon and just donate some money. Box Canyon was here. So you can see these have you travelling around, delivering things, pillaging things, but you're trying to complete quests, if you like, in order to win the game. How do you actually play the game, though, in terms of actions? Well, you have these cogs that represent your actions. On your turn, typically, you're going to move, and the first time you move, you can only move 3. So you sort of put that there, and then wherever you are, in this case I'm here, I could move 3. Now movement is a bit strange. It kind of tiles break sections, but also lines here break sections. So if it's particularly difficult terrain, like the mountains here, there's lots of lines that break it up. But if it's very open, flat terrain like this, there's no lines at all. So it's very easy to travel across this area here. Although it is radioactive, if you don't have the rad shield equipped, then you're going to potentially take damage. You roll the dice, and if you get one of the radiation symbols, that would damage you. The damage incidentally is quite nice. This is your sort of truck, but when you take damage, it covers up one of your spaces and prevents it being used. So for instance, you've got spaces that will hold cargo. This is water. This is weapons. This is a gunner, which lets me roll an extra dice in combat. This lets me hold an ally. You can get various allies in the game that will help you. So the chief here gives me extra money when I make weapons deliveries. Mortar gives me rerolls in combat. So they're going to help you. You can get various extra bits here. But yes, I was trying to get as fast as I could to here because, for instance, one thing you can do is just buy. This means they're selling water and it costs you $3. So the sort of currency in the game, you spend your money and you would acquire some water from the supply. You have to have room, so the green ones will hold food and water. The black spaces will only hold the weapons. But after you've bought it, then typically you're going to try and deliver it somewhere. And you can see all the spaces tell you what they want. So these people want weapons. These guys want weapons and water, they just want water, etc. So you would then travel somewhere that wants water. In fact, Box Canyon here wants water. So I could travel here on a subsequent turn. But when I take my next turn, if I just moved and didn't do anything else, I can then move 4 on my next turn, and then 5 on my next turn. But if I decide, like I went here to buy the water, because that's an action, after I move my 3, I would then be doing a purchase action, which means the next time I move, because I stopped to do something, I can only move 3 again. So you kind of build up your speed and move faster across the map if you're not taking actions, but as soon as you take an action, it sort of slows you down again. Other things you can do, obviously, is you can deliver your cargo. There's a nice little market here. The more demand counters there are like this, the higher the prices are. So you're getting, 5 up to 9 or 10 for the different commodities at the moment, but you're getting different amounts of money through the game. And as you fulfill demand and sell it, the prices come back down again. So that's quite nice. There were lots of outpost actions. Essentially, those are the actions on the spaces. So if you want to get the rad shield, which is quite useful, that would be an outpost action. You're spending 4 money here. and New Chernobyl, and you can take the action. You can do, if you go to the depot, you can heal any damage you've taken, or you can buy an extra cargo slot here. If you go to one of these big M mod shop things, there's lots of different types of tiles that you can buy here. So extra storage compartments, weapons, armor, space for extra allies. That's the rad shield and the broker and things, but there's quite a lot of different things you can buy to mod your truck, but obviously you've got a limited amount of space. You can also buy the sort of trailer here to give you extra space. So there's quite a bit of upgrading your vehicle to help you move around. You can travel faster with certain things there. So those are the outpost actions, as I say. Some of them will let you get the quests. So for instance, if you go to this blue one here, there's different decks of quests, which are a little bit like these starting ones, which allow you to get the victory points, which are going to help you win the game. So there's quite a bit going on. I'll just very briefly combat. Let's say you decide to raid somebody. If you went to this place on the edge, I did this raiding thing here, then because it's a raider enclave, you draw a card and you're just trying to beat a certain number. The standard is you roll 2 dice. You roll 2 of these dice, and I'm trying to get 4 or higher. If I manage it, no, I failed. I would take a damage in this case, but if I managed it, then you're going to defeat them, and then you can, having gone to combat, you can pillage them, and you're going to get the stuff. In this case, I'll get a food and some weapons. So yeah, that's how combat works. It's pretty straightforward, but you roam around the map trying to complete the quests. First person, as I say, to get 3 of these victory conditions met is the winner. What do we think?
I've played a few various different pick up and deliver games, and this is probably the smoothest of the ones I've played compared to like Merchants, Zaya, etc. But it's different with the fact I quite like the movement mechanism. You can only do particular actions a certain number each turn. I like the fact that you speed up as you go across. If I don't take an action, there is some theme to this compared to some. It's not. It's there, and you do feel all the way through. I'm not sure if it's super invested. I still am ultimately just moving around the map, buying and selling stuff. But the objectives do add some further theme to it, to add different things to do. In fact, in truth, the actual decks are, while there are generally go to and do things at various places, there are at least relatively a decent amount of variation compared to some games. On that, yeah, it's all. I think the fact that everybody's turn is so quick is that most people's turns can take 20 seconds if they know what they're doing beforehand, because there's only limited player interaction by moving around the rear truck, so a lot of the time you can to some extent pre-plan what you're going to do, unless somebody does on the other hand buy the goods that you wanted before you got there. Then the goods, the available goods change, and often the time you're going, it's not what I want there anymore. But that, yeah, it's fine. I think I need to play it again to get a full idea of it. But I did enjoy what we did, because ultimately for 3 players it took 2 hours with a bit of rules explanation, which I don't think is bad for a game of this ilk.
Rating?
I would give it a 7.
Okay. Yeah, I think for a pick up and deliver game, it's very well done. In fact, it's probably my favourite pick up and deliver game I've played. I'm not a huge fan generally. I like the adventure though. In terms of trying to win, it's quite lucky. The third player in our game who managed to win the game admitted himself that he was just quite lucky with where the various things fell in terms of his quests, where he had to go. They just matched very easily with what he needed to do. So you're not going to strategize your way to victory. It's more about having an adventure, just enjoying yourself. But as long as you're happy to accept that, as Mark says, it plays very smoothly. Turns are really quick, much quicker than other pick up and deliver games. You can often wait a lot of time in other games for your turn to come around, but my turns just kept coming around really quickly, which was great. In terms of upgrading your truck, getting the equipment, that's really nice. The variety of different options you can do in terms of where you go on the board is really nice. Combat's straightforward. The flavour text on the cards is nice. If you want to take the time to read it, it immerses you into it. It's well written. I think they've done a great job with it. As I say, I probably just prefer other kinds of games generally, but I think I would be on a 7.5 out of 10. As I say, for a pick up and deliver game, I think they've done a really good job with this one. Alright, thanks for watching. That was Wasteland Express Delivery Service.